insufficient emotional responses, lack of empathy, lack of remorse, antisocial behavior, and a tendency towards crime. Psychopathy, simply defined in this way, appears in many different characters in cinema. However, popular examples like Patrick Bateman, Norman Bates, or Hannibal Lecter are not very realistic clinically. So, which ones are the most realistic? Two Belgian psychiatrists focused on this subject and analyzed over 400 films, examining 126 psychopathic characters one by one. We see familiar names like Alex DeLarge, Bill the Butcher, and Michael Corleone on the list. The study highlights three particularly realistic characters. In third place on the list is Henry, played by Michael Rooker. In second place, we encounter one of cinema's oldest villains, Hans Beckert. And at the top, there is Anton Chigurh, who is gifted to cinema by the Coen brothers. But what makes him the most realistic psychopath in cinematic history?
His name's Chigurh.
Chigurh,
Anton Chigurh.
The research describes Anton's character as follows: lack of psychological insight, absence of shame and remorse, inability to learn from past experiences, a cold-blooded demeanor, ruthlessness, absolute determination, and lack of empathy. In the first 5 minutes of No Country for Old Men, Anton Chigurh appears twice. In these two scenes, we witness two murders committed with great calmness. Contrary to the serial killer portraits we are accustomed to, there is not the slightest hint of pleasure or perversion. We see a methodical man who has clearly done this many times before. Samuel Leistet, one of the researchers behind the study, says he observed the calm, guiltless, and anxiety-free attitudes in two professional serial killers, which he also saw in Anton. Anton's logic operates in a very simple manner. At least that's how it appears, because we can only see what's on the surface. This man has his own principles and rules. And throughout the entire story, we understand that this is a very important guide for him.
If the rule you followed, broached it is, of what use was the rule?
In Anton's world, there is no room for empathy or remorse. When caught by a police officer, what he should do is escape as soon as possible. And as he moves forward in a police car, what he should do is continue on the road in a normal car as soon as possible. It is clear from the choices he makes to achieve these goals that he lacks empathy and feels no remorse. Exactly as expected from a psychopath.
Patty, what's this about?
Step out of that car, please, sir.
What is that?
I need you to step out of the car, sir.
This man doesn't resemble any villains we've seen before, not even physically. His hair doesn't belong to any period or place in the world. It is also difficult to draw conclusions about where he's from based on his name or accent. And the weapon of death he holds is another matter altogether. It's actually a tool used in slaughterhouses on animals. So, in a way, Anton doesn't see his victims as human and doesn't attribute any value to human life. In the first 5 minutes alone, a very clear line is drawn between Anton and the audience. This line clearly conveys the message that entering the mind of such a character is not possible. In some serial killer stories, due to the structure of the narrative, it's often difficult to keep enough distance from the main character, because in a way, we follow the story through their eyes and try to find causality. Of course, there are exceptions. The reason we sometimes see there are hidden sympathies for characters like Travis Bickle and Patrick Bateman in many places is actually because of this. But here, the situation is quite different. In the film, Anton's third appearance points to one of the most unforgettable scenes in cinema history. Due to Anton's car's license plate, the store owner assumes he is from Dallas and tries to chat with him. But he's chosen the wrong man.
What business is it of yours? Where I'm from? Friendo?
The conversation progresses, and Anton learns that the market was inherited by the man from his wife's father. Anton becomes strangely disturbed by this, and the situation escalates to a coin toss with the man's life on the line. One of the most characteristic traits of psychopaths is their ability to appear extremely superficial from the outside, making it nearly impossible to understand what goes on inside their minds. Here, Anton creates meaningless tension with the store owner, reflecting his unpredictability as a character.
What's the most you ever lost on a coin toss?
And that infamous question brings in the element of chance. Anton suddenly declares himself the executor of this game of fate. For him, the outcome of whether this ordinary man lives or dies will be determined by which way a metal coin will land. Anton is simply a professional who acts according to the outcome. Let's look at the second scene where he plays this game to analyze him better.
You got no cause to hurt me.
No. But I gave my word.
Here, principles and rules are once again noticeable. What did the research say? Absolute determination. As a principal, Anton continues to treat the deal he made with a man who has already died.
You don't have to do this.
People always say the same thing.
What do they say?
They say, you don't have to do this.
His words, people always say that, once again show that he keeps himself separate from others and lacks empathy.
This is the best I can do. Call it.
Anton made a deal. At this point, the woman's refusal to participate in the game does not change the result, because in Anton's world, there is only black and white, no room for gray.
I got here the same way the Coen did.
As he drives away from the scene, there's neither worry nor remorse on his face. It's just another day for him. Another scene that helps us understand Anton's black and white world better.
Who are you?
Nobody. You going to shoot me?
That depends. Do you see me?
Here again, we witness that there are not countless parameters in his decision-making mechanism. Did he see Anton committing a crime? He did, but he shouldn't have. End of discussion. Nevertheless, trying to grasp a general pattern in Anton's behavior and develop theories is quite challenging, because the unpredictability factor is always very strong. For example, there's a scene where he suddenly shoots at a bird on a bridge around the middle of the film. If there's still anyone trying to understand his character or get into his head, it's almost a warning to stay away. Javier Bardem's incredible performance as Anton Chigurh, for which he won an Oscar, not only portrays the most clinically realistic psychopathic character in cinema history, but also stands as one of the most successful character studies on screen. And No Country for Old Men is a masterpiece that can be watched over and over again just to see him.
I'm looking for Llewellyn Most.
Well, I'd say he's at work. Do you want to leave a message?
Where does he work?
I can't say.
Where does he work?
When you think of a psychopathic character, who comes to your mind first? We look forward to your comments. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Club Cinemori for more cinema content.